Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Who We Are podcast. If you watch a 100-meter race, it's usually over in about 11 seconds. But what most people don't see is the years and sometimes decades of discipline, sacrifice, doubt, and resilience that go into those 11 seconds. Today's guest knows that journey intimately. Shanti Pereira is Singapore's fastest woman, a national record holder and Asian Games champion who has carried the Singapore flag onto some of the world's biggest stages. But her journey hasn't been a straight linear line. There were moments where things didn't go her way, seasons where she had to rediscover her confidence, rebuild her belief, and find the courage to keep going. And in so many ways, that's what makes her story so powerful. So today, we're going to explore that story, the mindset, the struggles, the quiet moments that shaped her. Shanti, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I am so excited. We've been looking
Me
forward
too.
to this
I know.
conversation.
Yes, I can't wait.
I'm really excited to really have a deeper conversation with you because, when we met for coffee, I was so intrigued by...
Yeah, you were.
I was, but like what it takes to really become a champion and an elite performer, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of us, when we hear Shanti Pereira, we think of, Singapore's national pride. But if I were to meet you when you were 10 years old, who would I have met?
Wow. Honestly, you would have just met this girl that loves being active. I mean, I think at 10 years old, I really enjoyed just being active. I love PE lessons. I love just moving around. And I think part of why that was because at that time, my older sister, she was part of the national team doing athletics as well.
How much older is she?
She's 6 years older than me.
Okay.
So when I was 10, she was already 16 and she went to the sports school and everything. So at that time and before that, I was traveling with my family to watch her compete. I was watching her compete in Singapore. And that probably built the love for just being active and specifically liking running and sprinting and all those kind of things. So I was very active and according to my family, I was very cute when I was young. So that's probably
So
who you
at
would have
10,
met.
you were already very active.
At 10, I was already part of the track and field team actually. I joined when I was 9 years old, so in primary 3. And I joined because I participated in my school sports day. And because I won the races that I competed in, so the coach kind of said, join track and field training, which I did.
Yeah.
And I just kind of went with it. And so when I was 10, I was still in the team. I was there all the way to P6.
Wow. Was there a specific moment where you realized that, wow, damn, I'm really fast? not just, faster than my peers and my age group, but, that realization that there's
maybe
something.
when I was 9, so when I went to, I participated in the school national games and I was competing with girls who were 10 years old because by right, the age group starts when you're primary 4. But if you're primary 3, they still allow you to compete lah. So I competed. And I won the 100 meters. And so I was best in Singapore primary school lah.
Yes.
So I think that's when I kind of realized okay, I think I'm actually pretty good at this.
Yeah. And that's when you also decided that, you're going to continue training.
I think maybe in primary school, it was sort of just a fun CCA to be a part of. So that's why I did it all the way until I was primary 6. Actually, fun fact, in primary 4, I learned a very important life lesson actually at 10 years old, and it was thanks to my parents because I lost the races and I wanted to quit. I said no, I don't want to do this because I hated the feeling of losing and I never really experienced that before, and so I didn't really know how to handle it. And my parents were really supportive and really kind towards how I was feeling, but my dad said you have to lose in order to be able to win next time. And that really struck a chord for me. And I was like, I shouldn't just give up just like that.
Yeah.
And so I continued.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when did sprinting or racing become something that you really loved to something that you really need in your life?
I don't know. Maybe that came a bit later because I think in school it's just sort of something that you want to be a part of, apart from academics. But I think when I thought, okay, I could take this a little bit more seriously was when I decided to go to the sports school. So that was in secondary 1 lah. So it's a normal academic pathway where you do Sec 1 to Sec 4. But making that decision meant that I was taking my sport a little bit more seriously because it's not just a CCA, it's why you are in the school. And so training happens every day. And you're staying in boarding school in order to have that kind of good training and school environment. So,
and you were, of course, also surrounded by...
And I was surrounded by so many, like in track and field, in so many other different sports also that was just there to really get the best out of what they're doing.
Going back to that younger version of Shanti, still in school, training, what do you think you would have said to her today, knowing everything that you know now?
Wow, I think I could tell her so many things. Maybe don't take things so seriously. I think remember that this is still a fun thing that you really love to do. And it's a time where you're finding what you're truly passionate about and embrace the opportunity of you just being in that school and being able to do what you love to do. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And don't listen to people. I mean, I think one lesson I learned during that time was that, if you want to excel, you really have to be able to focus on yourself and focus on your growth rather than compare yourself to others. Yeah. And I think as a teenager, it's very difficult to take that away because it's part of growing up. But I know I say this now that that's just something I would like to tell my younger self. I would also like to tell her that it's a part of growth and you'll realize much later that you have learned a lot from that experience. Yeah.
Wow. It's like really like trying your best to shut out all the noise and focus on your path.
Sure.
Yeah. I want to also, switch gears a bit to talk more about like the journey, the struggles, and perhaps some setbacks that you've had. You had, in 2017, you had the scholarship
Yes.
by SMU.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And in 2018, you lost it. Could you tell us a little bit about that part of the journey?
Yeah, that was difficult because I got awarded that SMU Yip Pinsu scholarship, which I was really happy about because that's really just exactly what I wanted. I was just really excited, I think. And at that time, I was also on the Sports Excellence Scholarship as well. So that's the one by Sports Singapore, so I had two. So I was just really happy about it, of course. It's definitely a sense of prestige that you've been awarded, and it's a crucial part of just all the hard work that you've been putting in, So, but what I wasn't really prepared for was the expectations that came from both of these scholarships, and I think with training and going to school at the same time, and with how much I factor my sport into my life, it was a lot to juggle with. And so unfortunately I lost a scholarship after about a year and a half. So at the end of 2018, that's when I lost it. And at the same time I lost the other scholarship as well because I wasn't producing the results on the track that I was supposed to be doing. So I didn't manage to do that, and that's why I lost both my scholarships. And it's probably one of the hardest things I had to deal with because it happened within a week.
Back to back, almost back to back.
It was pretty much back to back. And so, I don't know, I lost a lot of confidence, from just losing that. It just felt like a failure, like I failed in two of the things that I was working really hard at. And it was tough, but I think I had a lot of support from just my family and my friends and my coach at the time. I think to be able to come back from that, I think it required a lot of support, and I was really thankful that I had that. Yeah.
What was it like? Because I can imagine, especially at 22, when, it's also such formative years of your life, and having lost two major scholarships back to back like that, it almost also, I can imagine, like maybe perhaps it did feel like a rejection of some sorts. And how do you pick yourself out? What were some of the things that you had to tell yourself?
It definitely felt like a rejection, like I failed like I said. And how I came back from that, I don't know. I think it's kind of built in me, and I think why is because of how I was brought up, like by my parents, my and my older siblings as well. I just didn't see giving up as an option.
Wow.
I don't know why. I have no idea why, but I didn't see that as an option. So I just kept going. I mean, I had the option of changing my degree entirely, but I didn't want to do it because I made a commitment, like at the start of school, I chose this degree and um, I always want to see things through. And so I didn't change and I just kept going and kept working hard. And I found a way to obviously pay the tuition that I had to, pay because I lost a scholarship, which was fine. And then as for the sports one, same thing, I never really saw giving up as something that I should do. So I just picked myself up and kept going.
Well, thank God for us.
I know.
I can imagine, Shanti, that any one of us might have just taken it as a sign that, okay, this is not for me.
Yeah, maybe.
But so
maybe.
At any point, perhaps, were there any times perhaps in your hardest seasons you felt like, or you told yourself, okay, maybe this is just not for me?
Yeah, so many times. I think especially when I meet injuries, like I injure something during training or during a competition, I think coming back from that, definitely I've went down that road of thinking like, why am I still doing this? Why I could just totally stop and
why do you put yourself through this?
Yeah, why do I keep putting myself through this? Why? Just why? But I don't know. I always come back to it. I think after a while I realized like, I've been given this gift and not a lot of people have the opportunity of saying that I can run this fast, and everything I've been given, everything that has been taken away from me since I started, it's just a part of my journey and it has helped me grow so much. And, I've reached a certain point where I'm just very thankful for everything that has happened or hasn't happened to me. And there must be a reason why I'm built this way, that I choose not to give up when things get hard. Maybe it's because I was meant to do this and this is a part of who I am.
And this is part and parcel of the journey you have to go through.
Sport is really it's really life. It's just a very clear description of what life is about, that, sometimes things go your way, sometimes they don't. And then it's just about learning and
picking yourself up
and keep going.
You spoke earlier about injuries, and I think one recent and major one was in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us a little bit about that? And what was going through your mind, and especially weeks before that when there was so much uncertainty?
Yeah, that was a tough one because I got injured at the start of 2024, and that was Olympic year. And what stung the most was that I had such a good year before that. And I achieved a dream of mine, which was to get a spot in an Olympic Games on merit. And with the system how it is now, like qualification is very, very, very difficult. And there are certain ways you can qualify. One is, you qualify by the time that they set as a qualifying time. And because it is a very tough time to hit, they also allow for top 48 in world rankings.
Okay.
Yeah. So there were always two ways to qualify, but what everybody wants is to qualify by time.
Although it's much harder.
But it guarantees your spot.
Right.
At the competition. Whereas for world rankings, you would have to keep competing and keep getting those points right up until like 2 to 3 weeks before the actual Olympic Games. And it's just a waiting game, So that's what I wanted. I wanted to qualify by time. And in 2023, I did that, which was just crazy, Like it was absolutely crazy. I mean, that I managed to do it. So
amazing.
Coming into 2024, the Olympic year, I just wanted to ride on that momentum, just keep going and, try to be my best self when Paris came. And then suddenly I got the stress injury. And I just felt it was almost a fracture. So there was no like line, but it was bad enough that I had to just be off Impact for like a good 6 to 8 weeks, which is it takes you back a lot, especially when you're training in an Olympic year. And at the time where I had the diagnosis and everything, I was cutting it very, very close. And my coach has we've talked about it so many times that like it could have been a case where I wasn't fit enough to run at the Olympics, but we made it work. Like we made it work. He rearranged the training in however way he could think of for me to still be fit enough and not injure my leg even more, and just be able to show up at the games. Yeah, but it was really tough. I just felt like my world was crashing down because I reached this place where no Singaporean has ever reached before, and I was really living my dream, and then suddenly like
This
boom.
happened.
Yeah, and oh my god, I
Yeah.
was really just heartbroken. Yeah, I was just so sad, you know, with
I can imagine you've been
all the
training.
opportunities I got. I suddenly had to say no. Like, you know, there's certain competitions that are quite prestigious to get into. I'm not talking about like Olympic Games and World Championships. There
Yeah.
are like other competitions on like the circuit that are very hard to get into, but I
Yeah.
managed to get into them.
Wow.
But because of my injury, I had to pull out because I couldn't compete, and I was so
My
so
goodness.
sad. Yeah, and I really had to refocus and think about really recovering and making sure I don't hurt my leg again so that I can be on the start line in Paris. And so, yeah, that was what the season looked like. Instead of competing quite a lot throughout the season, I had to train most of it to rehab my leg, and then try to get into certain competitions in the lead up just to have some competition experience before Paris.
Yeah.
Which was really tough also because my timings weren't the best. And so going into the games, I didn't have the best kind of times, which kind of made it a lot less confidence than I would have wanted. Going into something so big, you know?
Yeah.
Looking back, it was really a blessing that I managed to qualify for
Yes.
Paris in the first place.
To even qualify.
Because if I didn't get that qualification, I wouldn't have been there. Because I wouldn't have been fast enough to be there. And so these are the things, like after a while you look back, it's something that I'm very grateful for. Like even with an experience like that, which was really heartbreaking, but it's still a part of my journey, I guess. And it has made me stronger, even though I'm at the later part of my career already. But
Yeah.
I'm constantly learning things. I'm constantly having to choose growth over all these things that happen in my life, you know. So yeah, but it was tough. It was probably one of the toughest things I had to go through.
The way you say it, you still can smile while saying it, which I really respect. But I can imagine it must have been, it's like your world crashed in
Yeah,
front
it
of
all
your
came
eyes. It
crashing down.
almost felt like that.
Yeah.
And it was a total mindset shift where you almost have to go from offensive mode to defensive mode, where you
Pretty
want
much.
to prevent injury,
Mhm.
you know. And it's such
Yeah.
a different mind space, and you had such a ticking time bomb of
Mhm.
like, you know, only a certain
Yeah.
period of time.
Yeah. It was really my coach likes to say miracle that I was able to compete in Paris in the first place. Yeah.
Well, what do you think that season taught you about yourself or life?
I think that it's important, I think with all the success that you have in your life, it's important to stay grounded and not be complacent, to keep working and remember why you're doing what you're doing in the first place. And outside of that, I think it taught me a lot about how to take care of my body better. Just how to how to take care of my body, how to find ways to make sure I'm recovering properly, because training really takes a toll on your body, and you know, the older you get, the more you have to take care of the tiniest little things, you know. So I made me realize that I had to pay a lot more attention to the recovery methods I was choosing, and maybe some supplements that I might have needed. So
because our body is also constantly evolving.
having to take like blood work to see what supplements I might have needed and things like that. So we did learn a lot from that season for sure. Yeah.
You talk about remembering why we do what we do. Why do you do what you do?
I think, I've thought about this quite a lot. And I really think it's because it's a part of who I am, you know. And I can't imagine my life without it, such that, you know, even when I'm eventually done with the sport, I will always have a piece in there somehow. It's shaped who I am. It has brought me so many life experiences and memories, you know. I mean, my future husband I met through the sport.
Yeah.
I mean, that's That's amazing.
Your whole life evolves
Yeah.
around the sport. I mean,
Exactly.
since childhood.
Since I was a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it feels like it's something that I've always meant to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, congratulations also on all the recent achievements that you have
Thank
had
you.
post-Paris.
Yeah.
I know that was a tough year. And, there are also really seasons where perhaps sometimes the results don't show for the effort that we have put in, but there are also seasons where it does show for the effort that we have put in. And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But could you take us with you to the starting line when you're there? What goes through your mind? And yeah, what are you thinking to yourself? Because we see you all cool, all ready, to crush it. But
Yeah.
what's going through your mind?
So actually, this answer surprises a lot of people. I don't think about anything.
Just blank.
Zero. Yeah. That's what I want. I don't want to be... I like to compare it to like taking an exam. Like, before an exam, if you're like reading your notes right before you enter the hall. It's kind of the same,
Got
where
it.
all of that doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, you have trained hard for this day.
Yeah.
You know what you have to do.
Yeah.
And so now is the time to just let it go and trust yourself, trust the training that you put in, trust, for me, in that instance, obviously trust like my coach, trust everything that I've done to make sure I'm here today. And that's it. And just go and run your best, That's really, I know it sounds like it's a very easy thing to channel, but it has taken me very, very long to try and incorporate that into my pre-race ritual, where I try not to think so much, because it's very easy to overthink. It's such a stressful environment, especially when you're in the at the warm-up room and the warm-up area and the call room, where all of our competitors we're all like sitting in a circle and everyone is just preparing their spike shoes.
Yeah.
And if the call room allows it, some of them are like listening to music, some of them are like dancing, and things
shaking
like
it
that.
off, and
some of them make sounds like grunts and things like that. So it's very intense place to be in if you're there for the first time and you're seeing it for the first time. So that's why I think for me it's really important to be able to tune all of that out and focus on myself. But I don't focus on the technical parts of what I have to do during the race, because that again is like
it should be ingrained.
It's like cramming for and like reading the notes before your exam.
Yeah.
20 minutes before you have to go in. So same thing lah. It's all in me already. Like, I've trained so hard for this, and now it's just time to let it go and trust what you've done.
Do you kind of know by the time you're on the start, at the start line, that you will already win it, or do you know it's going to be a good or not so good race?
I think sometimes you can kind of tell whether it's going to be bad or good, or at least that's for me, because like I don't know, just you're not feeling your best and things just, they're not vibing, so you maybe can kind of tell. And same when you feel really good and like I'm ready to do this, I'm ready to run a PB or whatever it is. Yeah, I think definitely we can feel it, but what I've realized is that I need to not pay attention to that.
Got it. So you just let it pass, like a thought that pass.
It's something I'm trying, because it's still something I'm working on, because it's so easy to really dive into that feeling, like if you're feeling really, really good and you go into the race and you're like, I'm gonna win this, But I always have to remember that anything can happen in a race, and me diving into that mindset is kind of thinking of the outcome, which is not what I want, because that's not something you can control, right? Like, what I can control is my actual race, right? Everything leading up to the race, that's what I can control, but I can't control what happens after. So like I think definitely you would have that kind of sense, but I think what's important is you try to focus on what you can control rather than what could happen,
and
based
just
on
present.
What you're feeling.
Got it.
Yeah.
After all these years, does fear still show up?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think there's always a fear of some sort, like fear of, I don't know, maybe you don't feel good enough on that day or something, or just fear of embarrassment, maybe, like you just don't want to lose. Like, people just don't like losing in general, right? So
especially at that level.
Yeah, so there's always that fear, and that's just something that we always have to work on, because at the end of the day, look, like, I mean, there can only be one winner, right? And you just have to accept it. Sometimes this is your sport, and
You sign
you're
up
gonna
for
lose.
it.
You are gonna lose sometimes,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not. And it's just something that you have to accept. It's a part of the sport. It's a part of life, you know? Yeah.
It's amazing for me to hear, because I think there's so much pressure, especially now. I mean, you're Singapore's spring queen, and there's so much expectations that goes along with it. And it's almost like at every race now, people expect you to bring home the gold.
Yeah.
How do you manage that to ensure that it doesn't overwhelm you and doesn't get to you?
Yeah, it's something I had to learn quite recently, actually, because I've never experienced that before, you know. Only recently, like, especially after, you know, the very good year I had in 2023. I think that's when people definitely expected a win from me every time I competed. And I just kind of took it as it is, you know, like, I just thought about it like, yeah, you know, all of these top tennis players, top basketball players, they are constantly in the limelight, and sometimes they don't win, you know? Yeah. And I realized, again, going back to the same point as just now, that that's just sport. You know, when you're at the top, there are going to be expectations on you from people that maybe don't even matter. And so I kind of just embraced it and thought about it as something that I just could never ever control. You know, I can never ever control people's expectations. And to be honest, even if I win, right, people will still say something. You know what I mean? So I just like, at the end of the day, I'm not doing it to fulfill your expectations. I'm doing it because this is something I love to do, and I love winning, obviously. So I'm gonna work hard and make sure I try to do that, you know, and just tune out everyone else on the outside that really just doesn't matter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Does it mean you also try not to, you know, go
On social media?
Yeah, so much just before or after?
Actually, yeah, it's quite something it's a very mindful thing I have to do, like to just not go to my phone, especially during like a major games period, so like the week before and things like that. So what I'm really happy about is my TikTok account. My algorithm is nothing about sports.
Oh, great!
So, like, my coach, obviously, he always tries to tell me like please don't look at your phone. Like, I don't want you to look at comments. Like, even if I did a good result, he doesn't want me to look at the comments and things like that. Then I'm like, coach, don't worry. My TikTok very good.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. It's a lot of clothes and makeup, and don't worry about it. It's all good. Yeah.
So that's your safe space.
It's my safe
Your
space.
TikTok is your safe space.
Exactly.
Where
it's
you
my
can
safe
still
space.
indulge a little bit, but it's nothing that is
it's gonna make me like, you know,
not gonna throw you off. But whenever a bad race happened, especially previously, how do you reset?
Well, I always have to have that dialogue with coach for sure, and be open to hearing what I did wrong, which is not very easy all the time.
Not for anyone
because
as well, but
ego just takes over, right? And you want to be like the best at everything. So I have to be open to just hearing what he thinks I could have done better during the race, because he's the one watching, right?
For
And he's
sure.
videoing it, and he can see, he has a sense of these things, like, you know, if I'm lacking like power at a certain part of my race or things like that. And so I have to have that open communication with him, and that's on me. Like, I have to be open to hearing all of this feedback. Yeah, so I think that's a really crucial part too. And then when I am open to it, I listen to what he says. You know, it's a good thing also that he doesn't fault me for it, because he knows that some days are just not your day. But we always take it back and we figure out how we can really work on something that maybe I'm lacking and try and make it better for the next time.
And going back to your wins now, you also ended Singapore's 49-year drought with your Asian Games 200-meter gold.
Yes.
And I want to ask, you know, after all that celebration, all that crowd cheering for you, after all the cameras, when you return back to yourself at the end of the day, what did that victory really feel like?
Oh my gosh. It just felt like everything. You know? I don't know. It just felt like I was like, I made the right choices in my life. I chose to stick this out and continue on this journey, you know, and it gave me such an incredible success and a story that I can tell to future generations to come, it's it was a very historic moment, and I'm just very grateful that I was a part of that story, Yeah, and after everything settled down, I was really just like, did that even happen?
Wow, it's just
Did that
unbelievable.
even happen?
It
even
didn't really
until
sink in
today,
yet.
it's like whoa, like that's really crazy that I was part of such a historic moment.
Were your parents and family there to
My
witness it?
parents were there. My then boyfriend, now fiance, was there too. And with family, I think like no words are really needed because they've just seen it all.
All your
right? They've
sacrifices
seen
also.
all of it. They know what this journey means and what that win really meant. And so like my victory is their victory also.
Yeah.
So like seeing them was just like, it just hugs, all around. Tears obviously flowing and everything. So it's a pretty great moment.
Yeah. Do you remember, was there something that someone said to you that really stayed with you?
Maybe, actually it's something my coach, he likes to channel this before every like season where, you want to be able to say at the end of the season that you gave everything you had in you without feeling any regrets, even if you lose, and that really stuck with me, and that kind of followed me throughout my seasons after that. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Yeah. And Shanti, your identity is so tied to your performance. And how do you ensure that your sense of self and your self-worth doesn't rise and fall according to the results?
Yeah, that's always something that I think a lot of athletes have to figure out, because it's very easy to tie ourselves to the results that we do. If we're winning means we are successful, and if we're losing means we failed. But that's just not accurate at all, And so while you're doing this sport, it's important to just go back to the things that you believe in and try to bring that with you to your sport. So for me, I've always been someone that I don't give up, and I show up no matter what. And so at the end of every season, if it's good, if it's bad, that's what I go back to. Like, did I show up? Did I do whatever I could to make sure I was there and healthy and ready to compete? If I didn't, then that's something I have to take with me into my next season. If I did, that's an accomplishment that I can be proud of. Yeah.
Like, and you had to learn that from a very young age and on a very public platform.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I actually kind of learned that maybe a bit later, so quite recently, because just of all the success that I've had, and I've had to kind of channel this also, because like you said, of all the expectations that people have, and obviously sometimes like I go into a race and I'm the favorite and I want to win, but then I have to go back and think about like, who am I, like I don't want to be tying myself to every bit of success and failure. I have to think about who I am, and bring it with me when I run and when I compete.
So what parts of you do you bring with you when you run and compete, beyond, of course, Shanti, the athlete?
I think I laugh a lot. So,
I love that.
Well, according to everyone I'm close to, I laugh a lot. So I like to bring that energy with me, I guess. Every time I compete, I like to just not be so tense and just have fun with it. And I bring the little bit of creative side I have in me when I do my makeup and do my hair and stuff. Just a part of just showing who I am also, If I can do my nails, I'll do my nails. If I can match the suit I'm wearing, I will do it. Anything to just bring a part of myself to the race.
And a bit of your personality. And
exactly.
I was also going to ask, like, what do you think most people misunderstand about being an elite athlete?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. There's so many.
Tell us. Debunk it for us, please. What do we misunderstand the most?
I think we are really our own worst critics. and every time we compete, we are so critical over ourselves that obviously we are not happy when we don't do a good time, like, and then maybe later we just say like, yeah, unfortunately we didn't run a good time, but still grateful for these things. And then it's taken as if we're okay with the result, but we are really not. We are really not. Like, the things maybe you are saying, we have already taught them ourselves, and we are critiquing ourselves over it, So yeah, I think that's one thing. Like, and also just we are human. Sure, we do things people don't normally do in terms of like, the types of training that we do and things we do in the gym, and our lifestyle that we have kind of created for ourselves. It's very different, but we are human, and we have emotions, and we overthink sometimes, and all of these things. Yeah. But I think what people also really don't or like they understand, but because they don't live our lives, they will never truly understand, is that it takes so much discipline. So much discipline and consistency and commitment that it becomes our whole life,
How are you able to keep building that discipline to?
I think it's like a no choice really at this point. It's
But like you said, you're human, right? So I'm sure there are days where you just absolutely don't want to show up or just don't feel like it. What do you tell yourself?
Definitely. We've had no choice really but to build so much discipline in everything that we do, such that when we really don't feel like training or just doing anything really, we have to tap into that feeling of just finishing the workout and showing up and putting in that work and staying consistent, because sometimes the motivation just isn't there. It's just not there. Like, I don't want to do this today. I mean, I faced this with my teammate just last week. It's just like, oh my God, like, I'm so tired. I don't feel like doing this right now. But then we were saying that while we were wearing our
your
spikes.
body is already...
Yeah, we were wearing our spikes and we just like, okay, stand up. And then we just go to the start line. So it's really just about trying to stay consistent and remembering that, sometimes it's not going to be the best day and you're not going to feel your best. But as long as you show up, I think that's the most important.
Shanti, from your intimate point of view of being a champion and a world champion, what do you think makes a champion?
Dedication to your craft. It is discipline, commitment, sacrifice, a lot of sacrifice. You have to change your entire lifestyle to be able to perform. And it's also about protecting your peace throughout all of that. Like, keep the people who matter close. And those that don't matter, just out of earshot, out of eyesight, So I think that's really what it takes. My coach always tells me that I have a lot of grit. So for me, maybe that's what makes me be able to do what I do. Yeah, I show a lot of grit.
You can take pain.
I can take pain. I am resilient. And I learned that, I think, growing up also. Like I said, like, I don't give up. Yeah, I think for me, that's what makes me do what I do.
Do you remember any core memory of your parents inculcating that in you?
I think it's everything. Like, maybe every unfortunate thing that happened with regards to sport or whatever it is, I think my mom and my dad will always be like, you can cry now, but take this as a strength, and come back from it. And I think it really it stayed with me until now. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And, with so many young girls looking up to you, especially, what do you hope that they see from your example and journey?
That anything is possible if you put your mind to it. You can achieve your dreams. Like, you can do it. You can do anything. I really hope what I've been doing really inspires, like, all of these girls and boys, to take up sport, or just pursue something that I mean, if that's what they're interested in, pursue the path less traveled. I think it's so looked down on in our environment that it becomes very scary and people don't want to do it. But you can, and as long as you have the right people with you, you can go down that path and hopefully be successful. Yeah.
So don't give up also on that dream. And for yourself, Shanti, you talked a little bit about sacrifices earlier. What do you think is the biggest sacrifice you've had to make for this passion of yours?
I've definitely I sacrificed my 20s.
Yeah. Are you bitter about that?
I'm not bitter about it.
No, because you couldn't do things that your peers were doing.
Exactly. I sacrificed my 20s for sure. It's like things you want to do when you're just in school and just growing up. Like you want to go on an exchange, you want to go out with your friends and party and stay up late and all these things. But I could have done it, but I chose not to just because I have things that I have goals that I would like to achieve. So yeah, I definitely sacrificed my 20s for sure. But you know what? Like honestly, no regrets. No regrets at all. Yeah. Because throughout that time, I've managed to hold very, very dear friends close, and I've made this circle for myself that has just been so great. Yeah.
Shanti, we were just talking earlier and, you shared also that you're turning 30 this year. Yeah. What a milestone year. And with every athlete, I think time is also finite for that particular season in their career.
Yeah.
How are you thinking about it? And what does 40-year-old Shanti look like in terms of what do you think she'll be doing? And does that vision excite you or scare you?
Actually now it does kind of excite me. Maybe in the past it didn't. I was still a bit scared because it meant that I was gonna stop running eventually. Well, I think the fact that I am still in high performance sport at 30 years old is pretty cool. I mean, not a lot of people do
this. Damn cool. Yeah,
not a lot of people do this. And so now, as I'm still performing at such a high level, I really have to listen to my body and take recovery very, very seriously. And also just be okay when, I don't know, like I'm doing a workout and suddenly I feel a really weird feeling in my hip. It's okay to stop. And it's okay not to keep pushing because look at the benefits down the road. Like, is it really going to help you or is it just fine?
Yeah, it's almost like run away, live to fight another day.
Yeah, so these are things I pay attention to. But what 40-year-old me would look like, I don't know. I hope to have little Shantis or little little
cool.
Tongyans running around.
Yeah.
I would love that. I mean, I've always wanted a family, so to start a family. So hopefully by then, it will look a little bit like that. But let's see. And I think I'll definitely still be in the sport somehow. I think I always like to give back to my sport just to keep inspiring people to join sport or whatever it is, And I think definitely my story won't stop when I stop running. I think it will keep. I want it to keep going on after that.
And you've already made history. And you will continue to.
Thank you.
Yeah. And, just more of a fun aside question. What are some supplements you swear by?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I live by magnesium. I definitely take magnesium every night.
Every night, right?
Yeah, I take it every night just because it's a really good way to help my muscles recover. And it's something I need because we don't have magnesium producing naturally.
Sufficient, yeah.
So I take magnesium. I take what else do I take? I take vitamin D. That's also really important because I'm not sure why all Singaporeans are just kind of
deficient
in vitamin D. Other things I take are like omega-3. I take vitamin C. I think these are just quite standard things, but I stick to it quite strictly.
Do you take creatine?
Yes, I was leading to that. Yeah, for performance, more performance specific, I take creatine. I take protein obviously to get my protein intake, but also for recovery purposes after a workout. That's a sense of what I take.
Shanti supplement pack.
Yeah, I have my little box of supplements. Yeah.
But do you feel a difference when, if you miss out?
I do because there are certain periods where I just go off it because I don't wanna be on it for the entire year.
Yeah.
I just need a break from it sometimes.
Reset a bit.
Yeah, to reset, and then I come back to it, to my whole routine, maybe a bit more into the season. And I can feel the difference for sure. Like I can take the training load a lot better. Because that's what we want. I mean, we want to be able to maximize our training day, to be able to finish the workout, to do it well. And in order to do that, we need some help.
Shanti, if you have a billboard down the streets of like New York, Tokyo,
Wow.
Singapore, what would your billboard say and why?
Ooh. There's something about being yourself, but also kind of weaving it to like running, So like, I don't know, run you, be you or something like that. I don't know. That line, that vibe.
Why is that so important to you?
Because I think it's a lot about what you brought up just now, that like athletes are so we're obsessed with tying ourselves to the results that we do, that we forget about just being ourselves, So I think that's quite important. Yeah.
How will you describe yourself beyond the Shanti that we know, that we see on screen and all over the newspaper?
Well, my friends, every time I talk to my friends, they're just like, they tell me like, yeah, people see you as like this cool person, but actually like, you're just very lame. And I'm just like, oh.
They ground you,
okay. Yeah. So I have them to thank for me being grounded, because they're just like, you're actually just like, you're just very lame. You're just very ditzy. I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess that's me.
Oh, Shanti, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so
Thanks
much
for having me.
who you are. I think truly we are so inspired by your journey, your story, and your pursuit of your destiny, leading into your gift and your zone of genius.
Thank you.
We wish you all the very best
for
what's next. We are
Thank you,
clearly rooting for you. Do you have any last words that you want to say or share?
Watch me.
Yes. And for those of us who want to follow you on the journey, where can we find you?
Well, Singapore Athletics is always posting like updates of where athletes are competing. Okay. So follow them for sure. And follow me.
Yes, we'll link Shanti's social media. Thank you so much.
Thank you.